The real, this is you guys are the Scarlet Fever racing team, but this is the real Scarlet Fever.
This is the real Scarlet Fever. You know, Scarlet Fever is named after my mom. My mother's name was Scarlet. So this car is Scarlet Fever, but you'll see Scarlet Fever stickers on all kinds of stuff. Basically, I say anything that I'm driving is Scarlet Fever, but this is obviously the other Scarlet Fever car. And
so this is the one that we've done some videos on. As you can see, converting it on the universal Holley Terminator system.
Yep.
From carbureted to EFI, and you're running the NITROUS system through it. So great progress. Got some motion parts on here too.
Yes, I think since the last video, we've been busy racing and working and that kind of thing. So there's. It really doesn't look like I've done that much to it, but it actually is getting a lot closer.
It looks quite a bit different. I mean, you didn't have any of the coils, or I think you just had like some wiring run through the firewall. So you got most of your fuel line done, the Earl's Ultra Pro.
Yep.
Which is, I will say, this stuff right here is
amazing.
It is amazing.
It assembles so much easier to me than any other hose that I've assembled before. I also watch videos on YouTube and this and that to make my own plug wires. So I made these plug wires. We'll see if they work. I bought that tool from MSD, the Pro tool, and it makes it super easy. I never thought I'd be the guy making my own plug wires, but now I made these. I crimped the ends on. Those kits are neat too because the spark plug end comes already installed on the wire. All you have to put on is the coil end.
So simple.
It's one crimp, and if you can screw up that one crimp, I think you'd be a professional. I think it would be hard to do. So I made all custom length wires for it.
And you're on the Holley Smart Coils.
Holley Smart Coils on the Terminator X. We are using a distributor in the motor to give it the cam and the crank.
Okay.
But it just has one of those blank tops on it.
Like a cam sync, essentially? Or?
Essentially.
Okay.
Essentially. So Scott's going to drop that in and put the manifold on pretty soon. I'm almost ready for him to do that. I have all the wiring done as far as everything run through the firewall. I've got to terminate these grounds right here, and then come check out my wannabe Devin Vanderhoof job in here. I have my ECU all mounted up, and I did some what I thought was neat stuff. This is my 5-volt sensors, and so what I did was the new Terminator X main harnesses have a power tap on them. They have a 5-volt sensor ground, 5-volt power, and a 12-volt power, and a chassis ground. I came off of the 5-volt sensor ground and hot and used a step butt connector to make 3 wires, and I put them in Deutsch connectors there. So as you add sensors, you can just put a pin on the wire and then slide it in, and you can add on sensors, and it'll be really easy. So when we get ready to upgrade this thing in the future, we want to do more data logging and that kind of thing. It's something you can kind of grow into.
So the Terminator system, just like all the Terminator systems, the harness that you're using to run this is also the same harness that you can run on a HP or a Dominator.
Exactly. So the thought is that if in the future we decide to put a Dominator on it, I'll be able to just plug additional sensors and I'll have power and ground for them right there. And I actually hooked up the input and output harness to one as well, so you can add sensor inputs to the ECU without having to like crimp a pin and then plug it into the actual ECU itself. So it makes the wiring a little bit easier. It'll make it easier to add things. So I'm trying to do that and keep everything really neat in here.
Is that the same shifter you have in the other car?
Yeah, I had them in both cars. So that's why I was trying to make the cars more alike, because it's people probably don't think about it, but I'm lucky in that I get to drive a nitrous car and a turbo car, but I find that I get in one and I, don't realize what I'm driving. I'm obviously not very good at it, because they said I was doing like 8,000 RPM burnouts in the turbo car.
Do you try to bump in with this thing?
No, but I tried to bump in with the trans brake in that one at Piedmont. One of those times I let go of the trans brake, and then I'm like, oh, let me mash the trans brake again now that the car's moving. I think I've red lit.
Oh my God.
I try to make them as similar as possible. I also finally got my
your old dash. That's the new 6.8 Holley dash.
Yeah, it is. And this mount I got from a guy on Facebook named Corey Nicholson, and it's really neat because I clamped it on the stock column, and I actually go there and show you the factory tilt wheel still works.
Look at this. There it is. That's the dash I'm going to be running in the salted chicken. It is. It's pretty slick. Is that like a 3D printed deal?
I'm not sure. It's like some ABS plastic, but I mean, man, check that out. You can go in there and tilt the wheel back and forth, and there's still plenty of room for it to work. This dash is insane easy to wire. I mentioned it in the last video, I think, and I still see people on the Holley EFI discussions and stuff asking about what it's like to wire one of these dashes. Seriously, it is a CAN bus which plugs in, constant hot, a ground, and a switched hot. That's all. Nothing
super
else.
Super simple.
Super simple.
I might be able to handle that.
Well, I don't know. Supervised.
Okay.
Supervised. As long as I'm there to supervise and talk junk the entire time, I'd let you get by with that. But that works out really nice, and you can bring all your data over. So we decided to go with that dash because it's a little bit smaller than the regular 7-inch, and it'll fit in that area right there.
And I think the biggest upgrade that you're doing is coming. Well, actually, just got here. People saw it when I unboxed it, and
went to the 9-inch. We're gonna actually try to go a little bit faster with this car. We're hoping we've added some power with the different intake manifold and that kind of thing, and now we'll have a fogger. So I'm gonna turn it up and try to make it 60 foot better than
So staying on leaf spring, you ordered this rear end right from Strange, and it's like a really just a bolt-in
deal. Already has the leaf spring purchase in place. I sent them all the measurements. They make these rear ends to bolt in all these old muscle cars, but on this one I didn't get absolute stock length for 67 Camaro because I think this one was slightly narrowed. So we measured and told them exactly where we wanted to purchase, which was real close to stock, but it was moved just a little bit. You can't move the tires in but so much on these old cars because you'd have to move the leaf springs in and then hit the stock gas tank and all that stuff. But this is really neat. You see it's already got the brakes on it and everything, so it's really like hook up the brake line, bolt it on.
So you have minor fab. Jason's going to install this, do some minor fab work to it, get it powder coated, slap it in there, and you're good to go.
Yeah, we're also going to add the sliders to the leaf springs to try to make it where it can separate if we do get to a radial track every now and again.
Separation.
We're shooting for it. I don't know. She's a heavy girl, so
sounds like you're turning this thing into a race car just like this one.
No, this one's going to be the street car.
This is your Mexican food go-getter.
This is Dad's, and I'm trying to get it where it will do what it's supposed to do, and I can be like, all right, here it is. It'll do what you ask it to do. It'll crank up every time. It'll run and be reliable, and every time you take it out there and let go of the button, it doesn't try to flip over backwards and bounce up and down, because that's what it always did before. We've actually got the chassis on it working a lot better over the last year or so, though. So
awesome. Well, I think as far as video-wise, we've seen some progress since when you unboxed the Terminator system for this. Now, we checked in once before as you were doing some wiring underneath the car. Now you're about ready to really do the final install and fire it up.
The next one should be, we'll start it up. And it's really close to starting up. It took me longer. The Terminator X was not hard to install. But in this, I decided I redid the whole fuel system. I redid the main grounds and hot wires through the whole car. So it really wasn't the Terminator X install only. The other thing is, I converted it to smart coils in a car that had a distributor. And so that was a little bit different. But I think we got it all right. I was worried about the pins for those coils. And I read the instructions, and it's super easy. I mean, you unplug the main connector, slide the pins in, and make sure they're in the right pin, which they're labeled. It would be really difficult to screw that up. And it's good to go. That's one of the main things. It was like a daunting task that I waited to the end because I was like, man, I got to pin these wires. It's going to be difficult, whatever. And it ended up just being, not bad at all. Like all this stuff. And we'll see if I can make it run myself or not. But I'm going to take a stab at that too. And if it doesn't, then I'll blame Devin and call him.
Well, I think that we're pretty close to seeing it fire up. Next time, are you gonna come put it on our dyno? You're gonna dyno it? Okay, awesome. So we'll see it on the dyno. We'll see it fire up, and I'm sure it's gonna be sounding healthy. Do you think it has any smoke for the cow? Is the real question.
I need to get some testing in first.
Okay.
I don't even want to, because I know if I put it on camera now, then y'all gonna be like, oh, you gotta go. I need to do some testing.
All right, that's safe. That's very safe of you.
This is an old car, and it's really heavy. I'm going to probably need the brake.
Oh,
I know how you give the brake.
Oh, wow.
I know how you give the
brake. That was one time, all right? That was one time. I needed a video.
Is that what
it was a charity win for someone else.
God.
So, well, that's going to wrap it up here. Holley EFI everywhere. Scarlet Fever Racing is just making waves everywhere.
We're trying.
All right. So when the coronavirus is over, we'll see you at Woodstock. I'm sure we'll be pitted together, hanging out.
Yeah.
And if we have to face each other, I'm telling you, the outcome's gonna be different.
I hope we don't race each other again.
She's dying over there.
There was a lot of carnage from me and you racing each other this time.
Yeah, more so me.
I know. I felt bad about yours, but then I had to work on mine too. So I'm really not trying to continue down that path. I'd like if we didn't race each other in the first round at least. If we raced each other later in the race, that might be okay. But first round's kind of
well, listen, we got it out of the way early this year.
Yeah,
so now we're good.
Yeah.
Now we're good. Well, that's going to wrap it up. You guys are going to see more of the Scarlet Fever out there, and we'll follow more of this build because you guys seen the start. We're going to watch it finish, and then we'll even bug Jason when he's doing some rear end work over here. We know Jason likes working on a rear end.
We know that. We know he's good at measuring, too.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up today's video. Just a checking in over here and seeing what they got going on, seeing a bunch of horsepower and builds coming together. So right now it is build season until this virus is gone, so I hope everyone's staying safe. And we are practicing social distancing. I'm actually with the medical professionals today, so we're good here.
We had to talk him into coming over here. He was scared.
I didn't want to come, but
I stayed 6 feet away.
That's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Like always, comment, like, subscribe. Go check out Forrest on Instagram. You guys start using your Instagram, though.
Kennedy FOA. I've been putting Instagram stories up almost every day.
Okay, very good. He's like, you're like an old man. We're getting you younger.
I'm working on it. I've been posting more. I don't post a lot.
He's using Instagram more. The quarter sticks are going away. I mean, this is real progress.
I feel like I'm losing my
look at
identity.
Still couldn't get the New Balances off him.
No, I'm still wearing those. That is for Wes. Who else is it that likes to talk about my shoes so bad?
Chris.
God, you're killing me on my shoes. I'm wearing the same pair. They look good. They look good.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys in tomorrow's upload.